Dude, so many good games have been coming out, man.
It's nuts. Like, I actually don't have enough time to play video games.
Yep.
So do you want me to dish out some industry knowledge for a second?
I would love that.
So this is crazy. More games released the past 3 years on Steam than every other year combined.
What?
Yes.
That's a fact?
We're
Yes,
hitting
that
a-
is a fact.
A video game singularity.
So last year, yes, we are actually, funny enough. So last year, 15,000 games approximately came out on Steam.
Yeah.
This year, estimates are anywhere between 22 to 29,000 because of all the COVID development that happened and people switching careers.
Holy shit.
100, the top 100 games on Steam make up 91% of the revenue. The prohibitive factor of a game's success is no longer how good it is, but how well it's marketed. You know, this is kind of why we started Mad Mushroom. This is our big thesis is like the saturation is getting to a crazy point where even AAA studios, you're seeing all these layoffs. Why are these layoffs happening?
It was so sad to see the Prince of Persia game, man. Like, it was so sad.
What's the problem?
Because it only sold apparently like 300,000 copies. And I mean, the truth is that the market sees a Metroidvania game and they think, this is an old game, it's not worth $60.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, as somebody who bought Castlevania and Metroid for $50 and $60 back in the 90s, or at least my mom did, I had no problem buying this game, right? And also, I'm a streamer. It's a big advantage too.
Yeah.
And the game was great, but people see that and it's like everybody always says, oh, we want smaller scale, simpler games, but then they come out and people just like, it just doesn't catch on. And I felt so bad about the Prince of Persia game because like that's an example. Like that's a Ubisoft game. Ubisoft is this AAA studio, and I know people hate on Ubisoft, but this game was actually a fundamentally good game.
If that game came out 5 years ago, right now it'd be like hailed as one of the best games of the year. It would have won awards, millions of copies sold. The problem is there's just too much coming out, and there's a reason for that. The big reason is game development is becoming democratized. Where like anybody, literally kids, can make games now.
Yeah.
There's people that have had virtually no experience playing games. I think similar to one or two of the Palworld devs, virtually no experience making games before. Now, in just a few years' time, are able to match or exceed the quality of like developers that have been in the space for like 20 years. So that in combination with just the booming indie market, improved ways for indies to distribute their games, so like Steam and stuff like that, everything's changing. So yeah, game development is like going through a massive transition. AAA is suffering because it used to be if you were a AAA publisher, you stocked your game in Walmart or Target or wherever it was, GameStop, and you could sell a certain amount of copies because you controlled the distribution, or at least you had inroads with the physical distribution.
Of course.
Nowadays, AAA is playing pretty much on the same leveling field as everyone else. They've got more marketing channels. In some cases, they got more relationships with press and stuff like that. They perhaps have more optimized influencer marketing campaigns. But ultimately, there's a ton of big AAA games that have released that weren't like huge IP that just tanked. Yeah. And that's why it's one of the reasons why we're seeing a lot of these layoffs.
And I think one of the big reasons why games don't do well is because they suck. That's the reason. I'm not going to go and name names or anything, but if you look at Starfield, that game had a lot of fucking problems.
Yeah, it sucked.
It did. It sucked. And it's like, really, well, why isn't this working? Because like back in the day, Starfield would have probably been viewed as a relatively good game because you didn't have the same level of criticism, you didn't have the same level of analysis, and you also didn't have the same level of play. And also people weren't as engaged as they used to be.
Yeah.
So it's like Starfield was the game that came out. And also because there are so many other games that came out, Starfield is good, but there's also No Man's Sky. And then there's also like 5 of these other games that are similar to this in another way.
Yeah.
Or other games that are totally different, like Baldur's Gate 3. So it's like, why is somebody going to go and sit down and play that whenever
Did you beat that?
What?
Did you beat Baldur's Gate 3?
No, I only played the demo in 2021.
Okay.
I've not even played the actual game.
I have also not beaten anything past chapter 1, which really sucks. I know how good it is, but I saw Co Carnage's review, whose opinion is just like,
he's the guy.
He is the guy. And he said that part 3 was about a 7 out of 10 when compared to part 1.
Well, they've updated, whenever he made, I know the video you're talking about,
100%.
they've updated and improved part 3 from what I've heard, like just reading like their updates and their patch notes and everything. So it seems like that's something that's kind of being improved a lot more.
Fuck yeah.
And also like I feel like that's a really good insight because whenever, Co Carnage had that opinion, But I think that most people probably never got past Act 1.
Yep.
So like from their perspective, this was the greatest thing they've ever seen because they never see any other of the end game content, which is like what's really sad for me is like I see a game like Armored Core 6 and it's like Armored Core 6, it just gets better and better and better. And it's like at the end of it, it's just fucking insane. But it's like you don't really even get to that point because, well, you know, like most people just don't really finish games. It's sad.
It does really suck because I'm having that issue too. Like there's been so many games that I really enjoyed, but then I just didn't have the time to finish them.
Yeah.
It really fucking sucks. Like I played Abyss School recently. That game was dope. Poppy's Playtime, Chapter 3. I don't have the attention span to finish games. It's a really bad habit. I'm actually thinking about just doing another subathon or follow-a-thon because I don't really feel like doing another subathon, to be honest. But I just need an excuse to finish the games that I've started. But it's so fucking hard.
100%. Especially if you do it as a career and like you've got so many things to consider. But
Yep.
no, I'm with you, dude. There's just so many games. And like the beauty about a lot of great games, like the best games, they're timeless. So like it's almost like the human cultural capacity of games is like filling up and it's like limited because you can play like Brotato 10 years from now. I'm obsessed with this game. I'm sorry. You can play Brotato.
What is Brotato? I've never heard of that.
You've never heard of it? Okay.
I need to play this, man. You just keep talking about it.
So I've got like 70, 80 hours in this game. It's like a $3 game on Steam.
Okay.
You play Vampire Survivors, obviously.
Absolutely. Love that game.
So it's basically Vampire Survivors, but like an added layer or two of depth. If you think about it that way. So like,
Is this like Super Meat Boy meets Vampire Survivors? Or no? It looks like Binding of Isaac.
Yeah, kind of. You're in a single room. You're in like a single static room. And there's just constant waves that come out. And then after the end of each wave, it goes to like a buy menu and like you buy different items and upgrades and stuff like that.
This looks good.
It's so good. It is like, it's funny, Blobfish, the publisher, I messaged them on Twitter the cringiest message where I was just like, dude, I love you guys. And like that's or something like that. But yeah, no, like there's games like this that are going to be good 10 years from now. Dark Souls is a great example. That game is going to be good forever.
If they bring out Elden Ring 10 years from now, it will still be Elden Ring.
Exactly.
If they bring out Elden Ring 10 years ago, it will still be Elden Ring.
Exactly.
Same with Baldur's Gate 3. Same with Armored Core 6. Same with, I would say, Blasphemous 2, especially.
It's that good.
The gameplay is the best that I've played. To be fair, Tips, you've suggested a lot of times I play Hollow Knight. Right?
Oh, Hollow Knight.
You haven't played yet?
I have not beaten Hollow Knight.
You'll love it. It's
Really?
so fucking good.
Yeah, like I tried to play it 2 times. I couldn't do it.
Definitely an off-stream game, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I remember I've done like, so I'm doing the Prince of Persia game off stream, and I'm also playing a lot of like Grand Blue Fantasy off stream. And playing a game off stream is a totally different vibe.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially something like Hollow Knight, like super immersive Metroidvania. Like there's so much hidden lore in that game that's just like totally mind-blowing that like you really have to digest it off stream, I think.
I think Hollow Knight would be an on-game stream. It's the way I played it, which is just have a map of where to go. Because I'll be real, most people spend more time trying to figure out where to go than actually playing the fucking game.
That's why I stopped playing it. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's so fucking hard to navigate.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that to me makes it miserable. Like people like, I did the same for Elden Ring, where people were like, dude, why are you looking up where to go? It's just like, I just don't want to walk around aimlessly. I don't like that in games. I'm starting to hate open world games because that's kind of just how it is for me. It's like, I just want to be put on a train tracks. I want to do the content the way it's supposed to be done. I genuinely do not give a fuck about exploring.
Did you beat Armored Core 6?
No.
I don't want to hear about this shit.
Oh, okay. Armored Core 6 was very good.
Yeah.
It was very a fucking amazing game. I don't know why I stopped. I beat the really hard boss, the one who floats in the air and then he rockets everything and then you got to fly through the cracks.
Oh, so you mean the first boss?
Is he the first boss?
Yeah.
The first real boss, I assume?
Balteus.
That's probably him.
Yeah.
Because I got to the point because the chat was hyping up this one boss fight that you couldn't beat. It took you like 8 hours.
Sea Spider.
Yeah, I think I crushed that. Then I was like, okay. I mean, how much more of the game was there after that?
You were about 40% done.
Wait, no. I remember what made me quit the game. Okay, I remember now. Okay, it wasn't I got busy. I legit quit the fucking game. There was this one fight where you have to survive wave after wave after wave of enemies.
Oh, I remember. I did that one when I first tried.
Yep, I didn't.
Yeah.
It's 100% a mech issue. I did not feel like changing it to be a different mech. I just don't fucking care. I did not give a fuck. I did like 4 times, and it's such a miserable mission because you have to hear the same dialogue, fight the same fucking enemies, and I'm just like, nah, you know what? I'm fucking good. I rage quit so hard that game.
I hope that we see more games like Armored Core 6 come out.
Yeah.
I really do. Like, I hope we get games that are just like a slice of gameplay that is just S tier, and that's it. Like the story games, like, you know, I played the Coffin of Andy and Laylee. Those are nice. Those are cute.
Super
I love
good.
those, right? They're great. But I'm mainly a gameplay Andy. I love gameplay. I love, like, you know, in Blasphemous 2, like, it is, oh my God, it is so good.
Yeah.
Is it
like-
hard to navigate?
A little bit, but not really. I mean, like, it's not even nearly as hard. And, like, you know, go back to the Prince of Persia game. You know that problem? You can literally take in-game screenshots in Prince of Persia that will show you the location of different things that you might have missed, so you don't have to, like, write them down or something like that or use a website. Like, it was so innovative. I was so happy to see that.
Okay, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, it was great. And I just want to see more games like that come out. But, like, Tips, you're right. I mean, like, the games that come out, some of them, like, yeah, they don't get the publishing. They don't get any attention on them. Like, Among Us is a good example of this, right? Until Soda Blue that came up. And then besides that, I mean, there's plenty other ones that just never really go anywhere. Like Halls of Torment was like that. I remember because I watched Sequisha play Halls of Torment, and I was like, this game is fucking awesome. This is insanely cool. And I went and I played it, and then, like, the player base went up to, like, you know, 20,000 people for a while. Like, a lot of people discovered this game, and that was amazing. And it's also like, you know, games don't get like that kind of, they don't get that attention that they sometimes deserve. But I think also with like these big AAA games, especially these like major studio games, the gameplay is just really not that good.
Yeah. And
Like,
it can be explained, by the way, and for like through macro industry trends. So one of the ways games get financed, and there's actually a huge gap of understanding, I think, so I can talk about this for a little bit. So one of the ways games get financed is, just like any other business model, you have to present a business case, whether you're pitching to a venture capital firm that's going to finance your game, private equity, or you're pitching to a publisher. You have to present a case that this game is going to make tens of billions, whatever, of dollars. And there's a concept when it comes to investment called TAM, T-A-M, total addressable market. If you cannot show that your game has a massive total addressable market to an investor who might not be super sophisticated in games content, or to a publisher who it's just some pencil pusher at the top that, like, you know, decides or whatever, then you're not going to get financed. So the reason why a lot of games suck nowadays, or they feel super rudimentary, or the tutorials feel like they take forever or whatever, is because they are designed from the ground up. They do not receive financing unless they can appeal to everyone. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of AAA games have gotten so much worse, because the mechanisms that determine their financing are very much anti-hardcore. They're outdated, and they're anti-hardcore / semi-hardcore gamer, which is what we probably be categorized as. But on the flip side, it's one of the reasons why you see so many successful indie breakouts, because indie studios that can make games for much cheaper don't need to abide by the same investment restrictions, and they can make brilliant games like, you know, Brotato and Pal World and whatever it is.
Brotato.
Yeah.
Are you sponsored?
I wish, honestly.